Hey guys, it's Misty here from TheJollyFatElf. I am back! Yay! I am not at 100%, but I am feeling so much better, so I wanted to get some videos put up for you guys. The main reason is because it's almost the end of celebration. There's like 2 more weeks left, and I haven't even shown you like maybe 3 things that you can get out of the celebrations catalog. So I'm going to spend this week and maybe next week as well showing you the items that you can earn for free when you place a $50 order in my Stampin' Up! Store. So today I'm going to focus on the So Very Much set. This is a really nice thank you set, and I'm going to be using the colors Bermuda Bay, Mint Macaroon, and Sweet Sugar Plum. And I'm going to be making 6 cards today because you can get 2 cards from 1 sheet of cardstock. So this was an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I scored it at 5.5 and then I cut it at 4 1/4 so I could get 2 of each. And the reason why I'm using these colors is because that's the colors that are in the 6x6 Glimmer paper. And this paper is another item that you can earn during celebration. So there's Bermuda Bay, Sweet Sugar Plum, and then Mint Macaroon, or Macaron, however you want to pronounce it. I know. And this is looking a little gray on my camera. I don't know, but it's definitely a green. So let's get started. I am actually following a sketch, and I will have this sketch posted over on my blog along with the tutorial with this, so you can head over there to print off the tutorial and the sketch. So this is sketch number 16 for paper and ink sketches. Again, these are sketches I created for my team. So I have 6 card layers for the inside. This is 6 pieces of Whisper White that measures 4 by 5 1/4. I have 6 pieces that measure 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then I have 6 pieces that measure 3.5 by 4 1/4. This is going to be where we stamp. And then instead of doing a piece that measured 4 by 4 1/4 of this Glimmer paper, I've cut strips that measure 4 1/4 by 1/2 inch. And then we are going to glue these down using tearing tape, and then they'll be 1/4 inch. And we don't have to use an entire sheet of Glimmer paper. So that's kind of my hint on how you can use Glimmer paper and not have to use such a big sheet. I'm stamping in the same colors. So this is going to be somewhat a monochromatic card, but not necessarily because I'm adding in some white. I'm going to be using dimensionals, tearing tape, and snail. So let's start by doing the easy part first, and I'm going to go ahead and glue in our inside card layer. If you're new here, I normally don't stamp on the inside of my card layers because I like to leave that for a place to put, you know, write a quick note, etc. And it's kind of, I got in that habit when I was making cards for Operation Right Home. You can find a playlist, I believe it's called Saturdays for Soldiers. I was doing that for a while, and then of course Operation Right Home closed down. So, but I just had gotten in the habit of not putting anything on the inside. So the sender, whether it's me or whether it's somebody else, has enough room to write a note or something. But you're more than welcome to add a sentiment to the inside. We may have a furry visitor. She is in here. She's been in and out. She tried to jump up here and didn't quite make it, so I think that spooked her. Because my room is very, very messy. I mean, I haven't been able to do much, so I haven't had time to really clean up in here. And I don't know about you guys, but I am a messy crafter. I'm like, oh, I'll clean that up in a little bit. And then a little bit never comes. Okay, so I have just folded all of my cards on the score line, and I burnished it with my bone folder. So now let's bring in our inside layers. So I like to put an inside layer when a card is a little bit darker. I just think it, number one, I just think it looks professional. Plus, sometimes it's hard to see ink and stuff on a darker clutch stock. So I'm going to fast forward, but I'm just going to put these in just like that. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue down our white layers. Excuse me, sorry, I say a lot, it drives me crazy. When you are mass producing, it's always smart to do it somewhat of assembly line. So I did all my cutting first, then I did all my scoring, or on the white paper, and then I scored my card bases, then I cut them, and now I'm kind of gluing everything down. That way it's an assembly line and it goes a little quicker. So I'm going to glue down, and you can use Tombow liquid glue. I'm going to be using Just Nail, and I'm going to add this layer. Okay, all of our card bases are done up to this point, so I'm going to set them aside. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my paper. I am stamping today using my Fisker stamp press. I've had this thing for probably 7 or 8 years. I picked it up at Mike's with a coupon. If you can't afford the Misty, this is also a nice tool to help you with stamping. The reason why I'm using it is I've mentioned that I've been having some troubles with my hand. So gripping a small block is kind of uncomfortable, but I can use this instead and I can just put it down. So if you have arthritis or you're having issues with your hands, gripping, etc., this is a really good tool. And I think if you use like a 40 or a 50% coupon, it comes out to like $6 or $7. So I'm going to start with mint. If I'm using the same color, the same stamp, I like to start with my lightest color. That way if there's any transfer, the light will really kind of fade into the darker ink, but the darker ink won't fade into the lighter ink, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to stamp this really well. Ink it up. I'm going to try to center it. I'm going to go straight down. And the good thing about this stamp is it's a little, you don't have to necessarily stamp it straight. It lends itself to being a little offset, just like that. So there's one. Let's do a second one. And if you can see that this makes it really, really easy. Done with this one. I better close it. If I don't, I'm going to get ink everywhere. So I'm going to kind of turn it just a little bit. Just like that. And you can kind of tell that mine's been around for a little bit because not all of the foam feet are the same size anymore. That's all right. I think I went a little too far. I should have gone this way instead of this way. So let's, I had two. Let's try that again. That's why there's two sides to every piece of paper. I really love this stamp set. And you could honestly use the stamp set for a 1-layer card, like on our note cards or something, and this would be absolutely gorgeous. Okay, yeah, go this way a little. And there we go. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Now I am going to bring in a baby wipe. Maybe a couple of baby wipes. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring in some Stampin' Mist. You don't have to do this, but I find it's a little easier when I'm trying to use a baby wipe because sometimes these baby wipes can leave fuzzies, and I don't like it. So I'm gonna use this to kind of get the ink off, and then I'm just gonna dry it with my hand. You can use a towel. And then I'm gonna move to my next color, which is Sweet Sugar Plum. This is probably one of my new favorite ink colors. Actually, I really love all the new ink colors. The only one I haven't used much though is probably Dapper Denim. And I need to do that. Maybe I'll challenge myself to use Dapper Denim and Emerald Envy. You know what would be pretty? Dapper Denim and Fleur de Flamingo. Fleur de Flamingo is my absolute favorite. And I know you're probably going, what? It's not Sweet Sugar Plum that has a bit of, you know, it's a hint of purple. Nope, Fleur de Flamingo. It's my absolute favorite. It reminds me a lot of Strawberry Slush, and Strawberry Slush was my favorite. And if you're unfamiliar, that was an in color when I very first started. It was when we had Strawberry Slush, Baked Brown Sugar, which was my favorite brown, Coastal Cabana, Crisp Cantaloupe, and what was the light green? Like pistachio pudding or pistachio something? Yes. It's pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Oh, I messed up a little on this one. Flip it over. Try again. Of course I made a mistake. Duh, it's Misty. It's what I do, y'all. Especially since it's been probably a good 2 weeks since I stamped. I am going to physical therapy, and that has been helping loads. It really has been. At first I was like, this sucks, because it just was so painful. But now I've gone twice. I go to my 3rd appointment tomorrow. I have to go 2 times a week for 6 weeks. But it's getting easier, and it's getting to where I can actually kind of feel a difference. I was pretty sore yesterday. We went grocery shopping, and one of the issues that I'm having, and I think I've mentioned, is muscle weakness. And I have that muscle weakness in my arms and in my legs. So sometimes walking an entire store, it's like, oh Jesus. I'm almost always scared that I'm gonna fall. But yesterday I did it. I walked our neighborhood market, and I'm so glad I did, because I was able to do it, and it gave me a little bit of confidence to know that I could make it. I didn't walk the entire store, but I walked a whole lot of it. And then I was like, okay, that's it. That's as far as I can go. So Rob had to do the rest. We had to end up going to one more Walmart because ours was out of the pepperoni that we like. And I'm sorry, I would rather pay $2 for a bag of pepperoni than pay $3 for a bag of pepperoni. And if that means I have to drive, you know, a mile out of my way, so be it. We're in an interesting location where we're between 2 cities, and we have probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grocery stores within like a 3-mile area. So pretty lucky, which is completely different from how I grew up, because where I grew up, we were 10 miles from the city, and we had to drive 10 miles to get groceries and, you know, living things. So sometimes it blows this little country girl's mind to be so far in the city, but I really, really like it. I'm not complaining in the absolutely spit. Oh, I messed up just a little bit, but I'm going to bring in... Oh, where's my Bermuda Bay? There it is. I'm going to bring in my Bermuda Bay marker. No, that's Emerald Envy. Where is Bermuda Bay? Is that Bermuda Bay? No, that's Emerald Envy. Where's Bermuda Bay? Oh no, lost the marker. It's a travesty. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in some tear tape. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna add some tear tape to the very edge of all 6 of these pieces. So I'm gonna do that, and then I will catch back up with you once that is done. Okay, so I just went through and burnished these. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these together. So let's start with Bermuda Bay. I'm gonna show you how to do 1 or 2, and then I'll fast forward again so you don't have to sit here and watch me. So I just put tear and tape on the back, and I'm gonna peel it up, hopefully. Then I'm going to take and kind of put this so it's equal distance. So it's just like that. And you may have some left over and you just have to cut it off. So it's going to look just like that. Okie dokie, so I've got some dimensionals on the back because I want this to be popped up. So that's what the finished card looks like. I like it. Do one more, and then I will finish the rest, and we will call this done. Cute, cute, cute. Okay guys, so total craft time, I'm going to call it right around 30 minutes. If I wasn't explaining things to you guys, I would have been done in under probably 15 or 20. So yeah, so thanks so much for joining me today. Head on over to the blog and I will have a raffle copter there, and you can have enter for a chance to win this card set. Open internationally as well. Just leave a comment, make sure you're a subscriber. So yeah, that'll be over at the blog where you'll also find the sketch and a link to download the PDF tutorial. So thank you so much for joining me, guys. It's really glad to be back. Thank you so much for all your well wishes and your comments on that video. I will never be able to respond to all the comments there, but I read every single one of them, and I really appreciate you guys. So thanks so much for joining me. I will talk to you in the next one. Bye for now.